Crunchbase has watched the AI wave explode. And when I think about Crunchbase, this amazing repository of private market information and the importance in AI of having proprietary data, it seems like a match made in heaven. So can you just take us back to when Crunchbase was like, oh, we're going to go in this direction?
Sure. And I remember it very clearly because I was using ChatGPT and I was like, oh, this is so cool. And everyone had a sort of like moment of like, this is going to change everything. And I was like, oh, this is going to change everything. And the challenge was, I said, well, we're great. We're a data company. And everyone's saying, oh, congratulations. Data is the new oil, all of this. And I was like, yeah, kinda. Except once our data goes into the LLM, it's going to never come out again.
Right.
And then the oil is being made somewhere else and we're not a company anymore. So it actually felt like an existential threat to me where I said, well, we can't just rely on historical data now. Like historical data, in fact, and this isn't just for Crunchbase, every company in the world that relies on historical data or makes a business model off of it is now completely hosed, in my opinion. And the reason is because once it goes in, you're done. And the insights that that AI is going to do on top of the data is going to be way better than anything you're going to be able to do as a company. So what do you do about it? So that was the wait, what do we do? And I was like, well, there is data that we have that no one else has. And can we use that somehow? Those are two things. It's every edit that's ever been made in Crunchbase over all time, right? You can't crawl your way there and find that. And then the other piece is, do you have our engagement data, right? What can I do with engagement data anonymized to sort of figure out what's going to happen next in Crunchbase? So can you go and start drifting there?
Jager, so historical data is looking back. It's knowing that Crunchbase raised $106 million throughout its history. It's everything that's kind of in the rear view mirror. But your point is that Crunchbase knows so much about how people have interacted with that data that it provides almost like meta context on top of the raw information itself.
That's right. Like if you go and look at a profile now, you'll see the history of the company. But what you don't see is how this profile changed over the last 17 years to get to where it is. And then how's traffic flow changed on that profile over time? Are there more investors or less investors looking at this profile now than it was before? Or new corp dev people or recruiters, whatever happens to be? Or is the entrepreneur engaging with these profiles more or not? All of that is just engagement data and historical edit data that when we looked at it and we again said, well, all this unstructured data, what do? We just pumped it into ChatGPT and sort of some of these open source ML models. Can we figure out that it can predict patterns? And the answer was a hard yes, which is great.
So this really feels like a transition at the company away from, we have a ton of data, you can give us some money to access it, pull it out via the API, do whatever you want to do with it, to we are now going to, instead of offering access to the data, offer intelligence that the data gives rise to thanks to ML models put on top of it. Is that fair?
That's 100% correct. In a way, like ChatGPT is like this. It took all the historical data of the public web, and it's now trying to predict the next word that makes sense, right? And we're doing the same sort of thing in a smaller context of Crunchbase, saying all of the data that we have, unstructured, can we go and figure out what is going to happen next in a company, that first prediction of whether it be funding or acquisition or whatever it happens to be.
So how many different things are you predicting now with the new system you've put in place, which came out earlier this week, I believe, actually?
Yeah,
and frankly, Jager, how accurate are you in these predictions thus far?
Yeah, it's the first question is easy. The second one is harder to answer. The first one, we did 18 insights and predictions. So it's said we're shifting the focus of it's not just historical now, it's what's happening now at the company and what's going to happen. And that's insights and predictions by definition. On the predictions side, you've got funding prediction, acquisition prediction. Are they going to close? Is the business going to close? Are they going to do layoff? Are they growing? So there's a number of these different angles. And some of these things we're not going to put onto the website. Like you're not going to go and see like, are they going to do a layoff? But that is an interesting prediction that we're using more on the risk side, which is more on the API side. So if you're an API customer, you might have access to like the riskiness of companies.
Squarespace makes stunning professional websites ridiculously easy. It doesn't matter if you're just selling a product or a service. Maybe you're just sharing your ideas. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're a consultant. Squarespace is going to give you all the tools to make this happen. And as you know, Squarespace is always adding cutting edge features. This is why I've been using it for over a decade. And Squarespace is actually the longest running partner here on This Week in Startups, because every time I need a new feature, Squarespace adds it. And the new AI tools are unbelievable. They have one called Design Intelligence. It's like having a world-class designer sitting next to you in your office, and you just answer a couple of questions, and their AI builds you a fully customized site that's perfect for your brand, that's unique to you, and it does it in just minutes. Personalized layouts, on-brand visuals, premium content, it's all ready to go. So start your year off strong at squarespace.com/twist for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/twist to get 10% off your first website or domain purchase. Squarespace.com/twist. Thank you to Squarespace for making such a great product that we use year after year at an affordable price. And we really appreciate your partnership.